Hello, my book review is on the 2008 primer titled The Powers to Lead by Joseph S. Nye. The topics of power and leadership which are presented in this short book are vital and timeless components to how the world functions. There is no argument against the importance of leadership, and I'm sure most of you have experienced good and bad leaders in areas of schooling, university, sporting teams, and musical productions. The list of areas where leadership is demonstrated is endless. Nye acknowledges the significance of leaders as he provides a short introduction into new leadership styles awakening in the modern age. These new ways of thinking about leadership contradict the traditional, some may call it old-fashioned, even outdated style of leadership associated with heroics, alpha males, and the military. He approaches leadership in a different way, arguing against the notion that leaders are born, not made, and stating that leadership is a skill to be learned. Nye describes a good leader as someone who has a relationship with their followers and can adapt within varying situations. Nye's three big ideas and lessons outlined in his book include the relationship between hard and soft power and how it can lead to optimal smart power, and the differences and similarities between transactional and transformational leadership and the importance of contextual intelligence. These key takeaways will be explained in further detail during this review. In a topic of writing involving leadership, this book excels in an area where numerous pieces do not, as Nye goes into deep depth in his work. He provides innovative and original ways to learn how to lead and to show authority over an individual, a group, and even an organization in a way that benefits both the leader and the followers. For the first of the three big ideas expressed in this book, Nye discusses hard power and soft power. Hard power refers to the controlling of others through reinforcement with rewards, punishment, or intimidation. Nye uses an example of hard power in his preface when he mentions a business executive hiring and firing employees. On the other hand, a leader with soft power is an inspiration for their followers. An example of this is in also the preface of Nye's book, stating that a university's president or democratic politician will rely heavily on the soft powers of persuasion and attraction. In a sense, people under the hard power leader are forced to follow them, while there is more of a choice to follow a soft power leader. Although Nye is predominantly about minimizing the old and harsh style of leadership associated with hard power, he does not believe that solely soft power is sufficient to be an effective leader. I find this interesting as the concepts of traditional power are still needed today, even if some believe them to be too harsh. Nye believes that there must be a mix, a symbiotic relationship, if you will, between hard and soft power. He coins this as smart power, the optimal power level for being an effective leader. A good leader must have authority over their following, which can be achieved through the means of hard power. But if they do not inspire their followers, people these days will leave them and find other inspirations through themselves or through others. According to Nye, the ways to be the best leaders is to generate respect in the way of hard and soft power, so you can lead in the smartest and most effective way. Nye's second big idea refers to transactional leadership and transformational leadership. Transactional leadership refers to rewards, punishments, and other motives, specifically the means to motivate people to follow a leader, while transformational leadership is more unclear and involves both the means and the ends. The author uses an example of US Senator Lyndon Johnson and his success in passing the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Johnson bargained and bullied his colleagues to vote for a bill that transformed the lives of African Americans. This is a prime example of transactional tactics causing transformational results. This is important for us to know as different types of leadership, harder or softer styles, can create immense change. However, there must be a balance to create the right and most effective change. Nye refers to the interplay between hard and soft power skills and transactional and transformational methods of leadership. He believes that a successful leader must have three critical soft power skills, which are communication, vision, and emotional intelligence, and the 2 transactional hard power skills of organizational ability and political acumen, which is basically an awareness of others and what is going on around you. This idea expresses 2 methods of leadership which can transform society in momentous ways. The interplay previously mentioned in the first 2 ideas connects to the third big idea of Nye's book. Contextual intelligence is the idea that leaders must understand and adapt to their followers and the context they find themselves in. Contextual intelligence creates contextual leadership, which involves a leader using a mix of hard and soft power skills in accordance with their situation. The 5 important dimensions of contextual intelligence are culture, distribution of powers, the needs and demands of the followers, crisis and time urgency, and the flow and spread of information. This should fascinate all of us, as these components are not necessarily uncommon to us or hard to complete, but put all together effectively, a contextual and effective leader can be the result. Nye demonstrates contextual intelligence as a complex skill because some people can be great leaders in certain fields but can lack the qualities to lead in others. Nye uses James Webb as an example of this, as he succeeded and excelled as director of the Bureau of Budget under Harry Truman, former president of the US. He also excelled as the director of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, as we all know as NASA, but was ineffective when assigned to the State Department. Nye acknowledges that the world has always had good leaders. He mentions Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., and Mahatma Gandhi, but if new leaders can learn to adapt to situations better than the traditional leaders, the next generation will sprout a host of notable and effective leaders. One critique with Nye's book is that he does not go into detail about how someone can teach the vital skills needed to be a leader. This is a problem because it provides us with the end results once we become an effective leader, but through this book, we do not have a way to improve our own leadership skills. I believe this is partly because of the short nature of Nye's book, but it does leave me, and I'm sure other people, unsure at how he expects us to become the leaders he wants us to be. How can someone with autism just be able to grow their emotional intelligence and become more aware of what is happening around them to become a good leader when their condition causes them to be dissociable and not even know what they are feeling? We need simple steps so we can all be the leaders we want to be. Another critique is that the mix between hard and soft power that is mentioned by Nye is sometimes not achievable. In different workplaces, harder and softer power must be implemented so the job can be completed effectively. For example, construction workers must listen to their boss and do what they say, instead of following them because they inspire them. While an executive in a company may inspire others to work their way up to the top without the need to use too much hard power on their employees. This causes the smart power concept to become problematic, as according to Nye, a company relying too much on either hard or soft power is not working optimally, even though it may be working fine for that certain company. There should be a clearer way to mix these 2 powers that can work for all types of workplaces. One piece of advice for you, generated by me after reading Nye's book, would be to try and improve your emotional intelligence. This means that you can understand and regulate your own emotions better, as well as sense the emotions of other people around you. This would enable you to be able to lead people according to their needs. To do this, you should partake in more reading to become a better listener. Try to be more patient and have a greater responsibility for your actions. Another piece of advice would be to test out different ways to lead until you find the right one for you and your situation. Let the situation you're in dictate how you should lead others. If something is not working, try a different method and see if there's an improvement. This relates to adaptation. To be a good leader, you must change to your scenario while still having one eye on your goal. I recommend researching different ways to lead to find the best one for you. My last piece of advice is to learn ways to be able to lead everyone, not just like-minded people. By being around people, all types of people, you become a more effective leader and a person open to a relationship with anyone that you can encounter. Get out of your comfort zone and mingle with new people. Find new ways to lead and bring those back to your followers. A great leader can connect to a huge amount of people in their own way. Thank you.